A very warm welcome to the Asia Show. My name is James, and you may have seen this headline circulating on some mainstream media. Man held after 4 US instructors stabbed in China. Yep, you heard that correctly. China is actually one of the safest countries in the world, and they don't have gun crime, but they do have the stabbing more often than others. And the thing is, the Chinese state media usually cover it up, and they try to with this one, but they haven't really done a good job. Let me explain. Some background, first of all. Where did this happen? And excuse my pronunciation, but in Jilin province, and you can see on the map of China where it is. It's in the northeast and very close to North Korea. And you can see some pictures of the park, which I will show you sporadically over this short video. Let's read some of the headlines first of all. Now, what I'm going to read to you here is from the Associated Press, Reuters, etc., etc. So the so-called Western media, which the Chinese government and the Chinese state media absolutely hate. Ku, this is the guy who stabbed, collided into a foreigner while walking in this park, then stabbed the foreigner and 3 fellow foreigners with a knife, as well as a Chinese tourist who tried to stop him. Jilin City Police said on social media, adding the victims' injuries were not life-threatening. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman, Li Jian, said on Tuesday the police believed it was random attack, but authorities are and were still investigating. Another article says the same. A 55-year-old man identified by his surname Ku, I think it is, was detained the same day. Ku collided with a foreigner in this park. Near enough saying the same kind of thing. Again, these are from the international news outlets. But I want to show you the other side, something which the mainstream media, Western media, is not going with. I would like to introduce you to a gentleman who's been living in China ever since the Stone Ages for a very long time, Mr. Barrett. And he is what we call a CCP propagandist. He's a Western media hater and would always accuse Western media of manipulating governments, etc. The CIA did this, the CIA did that kind of malarkey. And let's just read what he put on Twitter, or X as we call it nowadays. The recent stabbings of 4 American citizens in Jilin, China should not be sensationalized. I have spent many years living in China, and there are very few violent crimes committed here compared to the Western countries whose populations are significantly smaller. Of course, I do condemn the attack, and I hope the person responsible is caught. Well, according to the state police in China, they have. And I do not believe it was attack against foreigners. I suspect there were the four involved were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Here are some of the facts so far. He goes on to say to defend the Chinese media. If you are wondering why Chinese media aren't reporting on this incident much yet, you need to understand that Chinese media does not encourage speculation, rumors, and scaremongering on incidents like this. Chinese media like to announce clear and accurate information. It is likely a full statement will be made after the initial investigations have taken place. Excuse the pun, but this is a stab in the back for China in general, because they are encouraging people to come into China. Xi Jinping has invited 50,000 students, I do believe 24, 25, to come over for a cultural exchange. The visa system has been waived, encouraging people to come to China. You don't need a visa, or it's easier to get a visa. But at the same time, if you go onto the Chinese social media, if you go onto Chinese newspapers like the Global Times or China Daily or Xinhua news agency, then you would see the anti-West rhetoric all the time. So this guy, whoever it was, Ku, this 55-year-old gentleman, saw these newspapers, saw these Americans in a place not commonly visited by foreigners. Most of the time they'd be in Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, etc., like that. But in this northeastern place, very close to North Korea, were there a nationalist thinking that China is good and America is bad, took the action against it, which of course is totally wrong. Now, if this happened in America, for example, there were 4 Chinese scholars, it would be reported by CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, Sky, ABC, whatever it is. Yeah? And it would be awful that that happened. But here in China, or there in China, you could say, it's sort of like this has happened, everything is sort of okay. And we will investigate and then we'll give you a report later. But this report is not going to be done, well, I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to be sort of swept under the carpet. And this is a big tarnish on China's wonderful kind of thing because of the rhetoric of China good, America bad. I would like to hear your comments on this. It doesn't matter where you come from. Am I totally wrong? Do you agree with me? What's happening in America? Are you in a Chinese community around the world? Is this obviously it's a bad thing and terrible thing that happened. Luckily, if you do the latest updates, the 4 people are actually okay. It's not life-threatening, and when they're able or healthy enough, they will be sent on a plane back to the United States of America for some better health care. The incident, regardless of where it is, wherever it happened in the world, is just awful, period. There's nothing else about that. But what is, you could say, bad is that Chinese media is not reporting this, and literally one guy on Twitter is saying, it's okay, this is what happened in China. But he doesn't have a good reputation himself, trying, for example, his son and him trying to sell some COVID-19 pills that will cure COVID during 2021, etc. Or it's a prevention of COVID in 2021 was a big load of BS ever. But these people sort of like whitewash it, brainwashed in a way of saying, oh, this is rubbish, and they're getting money for it. But they know darn well what's happening in the real world. So do be aware of these people in China who actually will defend the CCP and defend, you could say, the Chinese state media and always criticize the Western media. I don't think I have anything more to say. This is sort of like a video done on the spur of the moment. God bless to all. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.